Went live real quick. Using up the Wi-Fi. Yeah, what's going on, folks? What's going on, folks? How you doing out there? I mean, I realize there's a lot of folks out there, that don't want to be preached to. You always got people trying to tell you how to live. People always trying to tell you what to do. How to, espouse or expound upon, your life and whatnot. And it's understandable. I mean, sometimes, you want to be allowed to make mistakes. Sometimes you just want to, do your thing and try to figure it out for yourself. I mean, there's pros and cons to it, I guess, or whatever the case may be. Everybody doesn't always have the answers. Like I said, some folks just don't want to, just don't want to have, a million people telling them how to live, telling them what to do, telling them, how to be, how to think. I just think about it sometimes. Sometimes you wake up, you just want to try to figure it out for yourself. I mean, and that has its advantages to it. I'm not gonna lie. It has its advantages, has its disadvantages to it as well. It's just you got so many different voices out there, so many people trying to tell you, how to do things that they probably never done. It's interesting. It's interesting when it comes to that. It pertains to that. And I don't know. I don't know. It's just like what do you run to? Who do you listen to? What do you believe? I mean, then from a spiritual sense, maybe people may not want to hear things or whatever the case may be. You know, um, I don't know. It's kind of funny what people believe in. Thank you for the one person to come through to the chat is saying that you're in and out, you're in and out, you're in and out, you're in and out. This is one of those live streams where I could definitely relate to where people come from. Sometimes folks may be just taken aback. You may have grown up in a strict religious household to the point where you don't want to deal with that anymore, or you may be in a situation where you felt like you've been let down by people, to the point where why should I listen to this one, or why should I listen to that one, or if you're young coming from a generational standpoint and whatnot. Like I said, folks, don't necessarily want to be preached to. They don't want to, be told what to do all the time. Now, the flip side of it is that we do live in a society and a generation where we could, use some kind of guidance and stuff like that, and not just be so totally, out of whack or whatever. People moving upon their emotions and stuff like that. But I think so many people don't want to be preached to because it's like you have so many people that have corrupted knowledge and have led people astray and stuff like that. So it becomes a situation like why should I listen to you? What I'm saying, why should you, whether religious or otherwise. So many people have been let down by their priests, by their government, by their teachers and stuff like that. So sometimes by their parents. So there's a lot of people out there that feel like, who are you to tell me, what's what, and then, the lack of role models in society, at least good role models and whatnot. You got people out there acting like they're woke, conscious, a fake consciousness that comes upon people. It can become, a situation where, like I said, you folks just don't really want to hear it. You just don't really care. I mean, how it transpires or what's what. So it is that. Definitely it is that. But I don't know. It's just like it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I could definitely relate to the subject. I could definitely see where people would just be fatigued with a particular situation, or fatigued with all the rhetoric and stuff like that out there. I mean, I still tell people don't give up hope and stop looking for truth and searching for sensibility out there in the world. you know but I get it. Because there's just so many people out there who have opinions, so many people that have how-to books, the 7 steps, or the secrets to success, or come to my seminar, or buy this magical elixir, or hear these fantastic words, been around 10 times and then you're good. I mean, there are people out there that want to believe in something. There's people out there that want to experience truth, honesty and all that stuff. But then there's some people out there that just want to do what they want to do. There's some people, who don't care, about the right thing or whatever the case may be. They just don't want to be reasoned with. They don't want to be preached to. They don't want to be talked to. It's all that. And you get it because there's a fatigue that sets in. There's a portion of it where you just say, you know what, hey, I'll be okay without you, but I like I said, I get it, because there's so many people that get abused, in the name of righteousness. There's so many people that get abused, in the name of, decency and stuff like that. You look at your celebrities out there, people may appear one way, but they're actually another way. And or it could be a religious figure, he appears one way and behind the scenes is something totally different. Human beings in our condition, we're flawed in a lot of ways. So it comes to a point where you say, okay, where do you go, what do you do? And I tell people to look for truth as it exists, just independently of people. What's going on? I hope you're having a good day. Actually, I am Mo. I'm having a good day. I'm just, going through the live stream, doing what I do. I'm glad anybody showed up or whatever the case may be. You never know with these things. Sometimes when you live stream so much, like I live stream so much, there could be a fatigue that sets in. People are probably like, hey, I don't want to hear this man again. But I'm appreciative every time somebody comes through. And I understand if sometimes it may feel like I'm preaching or whatever the case may be. I know people don't want to be preached to. I know folks don't want to hear the overly serious live stream or whatever. I just try to reflect and come from a different, point of view. But I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Mo. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Good morning, Lopez Life Blogs. Appreciate you for coming through. Thank you. Thank you for commenting on it. But like I said, I know how it gets sometimes. Sometimes folks don't want to be told how to live and stuff like that. And then there's the way that you talk to people sometimes. Sometimes you could just give people an example, tell them a story, let them figure it out, and just go from there. Because people have heard folks preach. You've heard folks try to tell you how to live. You've heard folks try to tell you how to present yourself in the world or whatever the case may be. And you know what? The reality is sometimes people don't have all the answers. Boss Lady Lexi, thank you. Good morning. Appreciate you for being here. Sometimes folks just lose trust. They just don't want to hear from anybody. Saying it's like, who do you trust? Who can you look to as an example? Because it's like if you look to somebody as an example and you hold that person up, in high esteem, it's like, is that person, really up to board? Is that person really as they appear? Like I said a couple of live streams back, are you who you really say you are? That comes into play too. With somebody trying to preach at you and tell you how to live and tell you how to be, it's like we don't even know if you are who you say you are. And then sometimes it comes out that person may not be. So then you pull back and you don't trust, a lot of people like you normally would. And then there's some people that you do trust, and you do hope that person is, above board. You do hope that person, is who they say they are, and you go from there, but like I said, I'll tell somebody like an old timer told me, so it's not so much about the person, it's more about the principles that people live by. You look at how a person expounds upon, their life, the things, how they treat their family, how they conduct business, how they talk to everyday average regular folk, how they treat the homeless, the helpless, the powerless. That's when you learn, whether folks, are worth listening to and whatnot. You see them not when they're just on the pulpit or not when they're on the bully pulpit, like in public and whatnot. How do you treat people when nobody is watching? Nowadays you get watched so many times, but you know what I mean. When the public eye is not on them, how do you conduct yourself? And I guess those are the people that's worth listening to, because there's so many, I guess, charlatans and fakes and frauds out there. There's so many people looking to make a quick buck. There's so many people looking to just, push forward their agenda. Nah, Lexi. I mean, but it's true. I mean, it's true. There's just a lot of people who get tired of folks preaching at them, and then you turn around and it's about $1, or it's about, what you could do for them, as they're trying to help me. It's like, I'm coming to help you, But before I can help you, you got to help me with a financial blessing or offering, or some type of substantial gift, and then I can turn around and I can help you. And then it don't, like I said, that doesn't make sense. That sounds more like a con to me. It sounds more like a game that you're playing with me. That doesn't sound like anything real. That doesn't sound like anything, that I need to be involved with. But sadly, it's a lot of people that do get caught up like that because, there are people out there that want to believe in something. There are people out there that want, yeah, it happens every day, boss lady, but the thing is, there are people that use and abuse people in the name of righteousness, in the name of good, in the name of love, in the name of peace. And no, don't get it twisted. There are folks out there who are above board. There are folks out there who are righteous. There are folks out there who are really, literally trying to do the right thing. It's just that it's sad because you have so many people who are doing the opposite, that it makes it hard sometimes. The low plus laws, yep, yep. To the point where sometimes people don't want to hear nothing. It's like I don't care about no Bible, no Torah, no Quran. I don't want to hear nothing because you look and you see it's a scandal in the church or the mosque, or the synagogue, or you look at the politicians and there's a scandal with that and there's corruption, investigations and stuff like that, and it's crimes that's making it hard for people to believe. Yes, it does make it hard for people to believe, and like I said, some of that is by design. If you want to say spiritual wickedness, it goes with that. That sometimes some of that is by design. But I tell people to look at the principles. Is something that's written in a good book. We war not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. It's the principle of it all. And literally, when you hear people say it's the principle, it's the principle. Like what are the principles that people go by? Even if you see somebody that's above board and whatnot, it matters. What people live in principle life. But sometimes you need to take care of yourself more than others. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Sometimes you do need to take care of yourself more than others. You do. You do. You do. But at the same time, it never hurts to be charitable. It never hurts to care and be considerate of other folks. You do have to make sure you're taking care of yourself because sometimes you can feed somebody else so much that you starve yourself. Everybody, a lot of people that talk, but they don't walk that walk. Yes, Mo. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of people out there that talk that talk, but they don't walk the walk and whatnot. And that's what makes people not want to be preached to. That's what makes people not want to hear, anything. Like why would I want to hear from you if I heard from 10 other people that looked and sounded just like you, and came about and presented themselves just like you. You know what I'm saying? Even saying the same words, even probably wore the same clothes just like you, from the same neighborhoods just like you. So now when you come, even if you are the real deal, why would I want to hear you? That's why it makes it harder for those folks that are real, for those folks that are coming from a place of truth, to really be trusted, to really be put forth in that, because people were skeptical, and people were right to be skeptical. People were right to, question things. I tell people question, argue, explore. I don't care who it is. I mean, Jesus himself came back. You question it. Of course, I'm not saying you don't listen, but at the same time, you wonder. So it's a situation where like I said, people get a fatigue. They just get a preaching fatigue. Just a listener's, I guess a listener's block, if you want to call it like that. It's just like, yeah, I've heard this before. Sometimes you can replay it. Yeah, you try to lead by example. But you got to make sure that that example is the truth, because there's some people that are very smooth, that are very cunning, that deceive with beautiful words and fair speeches. There's those people out there. And sometimes, it's like, like I said, you got the carpetbaggers or the charlatans and, the salesmen from the pulpit and whatnot. They come, and they're there. That's why I tell people you have to pay really close attention, not just to a person when they're speaking publicly or speaking in a controlled environment. How is this person in real life? How is this person away from the rehearsed and staged, particular thing? It's like, you're looking at me with the live stream. Hey man, I could appear one way in the live stream. How am I in real life? How am I when I'm actually out in the street, when I'm at work, when I'm home, when I'm talking to people on the phone? Who am I? You know what I'm saying? And I say that with anybody, especially when people, presenting themselves in a public way. who are these people? You know, who are you talking to? A lot of people don't ask that question. That's the pertinent question. Sometimes people disregard the message when the message could be true, the message could be real. It's just that you attach the message to the person. There would always be wolves in sheep's clothing, yes, but somebody could use something real, something truthful to deceive you, with what they want. Somebody could sit there and tell you the truth about life, about love, about whatever, but at the same time they're using these bits of truth to just hit you with the lies. And they say that basically a lie needs a portion of the truth, in order for it to be true. There has to be things that could possibly be true about the statements and things that they're saying. I mean, the truth doesn't need a lie for it to be true. You know what I'm saying? So, but the lie needs a bit of the truth. You know what I'm saying? In order for people to believe it. So that's something that happens and whatnot, and sometimes people miss that. So there's a seeds of truth. So you take that away and extrapolate that, but you try to see, okay, where's the lie coming in, or how is the person moving? Is the handshake matching the smile? Is the words matching the actions and stuff like that? And sometimes, people don't take time to pay attention to stuff like that. Sometimes we're, enticed or just beguiled by a person's presentation, especially nowadays online, with the ways that people can present themselves. It's easy to be beguiled. It's easy to be led astray. It's easy to be taken for a ride and stuff like that if you're not paying attention. It's always easier to tell the truth than to tell a lie. Yeah, no, definitely. It's definitely easier to tell the truth than it is to tell a lie. Yeah. As a black man, do I fear the police? Um, I don't fear the police, but I'm cautious. I'm cautious of the police because, you got to be careful. There's stereotypes and stuff like that, So I mean, it's not something you want to pay attention to, but it's something you can't ignore, as it comes to police, But there's that too, Sometimes people, when it comes to not trusting the police, it is that too. There's a stereotype that exists. I mean, you could definitely tell by the different neighborhoods and stuff like that you go through. In my neighborhood, the dealings with the police are a lot more hostile than it is when I go to the neighborhood that I actually work in. I work in Midtown, so when I see the police in Midtown, it's a totally different interaction. But I have respect for the police, but I don't trust them most. Well, but see, you being white, you have issues with them, but not the issues that I would have just for being from where I'm from, the color of the skin. I mean, I don't like to believe it, but it happens. What do you think? People fear you? I mean, they probably do. I think they probably do. It's probably some fear, because I'm black and the stereotypes are there. I mean, yeah, there's people who fear folks because of their presentation, how they come off. I mean, I know there's probably some people out there that fear me because I'm a black man or whatever the case may be, but that's not my problem. That's not my call. I mean, if it's up to them and they don't want to get to know a person, then that's just what it is. So, but yeah, I imagine that there's people out there, and I've seen some people out there fearful. You clutch your purse when you see black man walking towards you and whatnot, and you wonder if he's gonna rob you or beat you or rape you or something like that. Excuse my language, but that's something that I guess just comes with the human condition and whatnot. The ignorance that exists in us. I mean, there's times when I could look at a certain person and have a certain thought about them because of the color of their skin or the background that they come from. The ignorance exists. The judgment and all that exists in all of us. The thing is, trying to control these things. A lot of people like to say, "Oh, I'm not racist," or "Oh, I'm not this," or "Oh, I'm not that," and yeah, okay, fine. So you're just perfect. You're pure. You have none of it in you. What's up, Crimson Fantasy? I appreciate you for coming through to the chat. But yeah, Caesar, that's just really what that is. I mean, it exists there. Why are most crimes committed by African American males? Why are most crimes? Well, I don't know if all crimes are committed by African American males, but, why crimes would be committed. I mean, think about it. If you're coming from places where you're impoverished, where the educational system is not right, and where the resources are not plentiful, and you constantly in contact with the police, and you don't know any real options. There's corruption. You're not getting the proper resources. Then what would you do? How would you live? So, hey, what's up, Christian? Now you believe in ancestral trauma? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could believe in ancestral trauma. But the thing with ancestral trauma, that I also believe in breaking free from it as well. Sometimes that life is all you know when you're in the streets. Yes, yes. I know some people. I have people in my family. Sometimes the streets is all you know. You may think that there's another way out, there's a better way, and then there's the system, the corruption, the things that remind you, that hey, this is designed for you to fail. I mean, sometimes people are put in situations. If you want to talk about African American males, sometimes people were put in situations that is designed for them to fail. It's designed for a lot of us to do that. I had a second guest on my live stream this morning. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up, Mike K. That's what's up. I live in Texas, and crime is shared by black and white alike. Yeah, Mo, it is, it is, it is. But I mean, just to answer this question in a fair way, why you would have African American males commit crimes is just because of the fact of the system that may fail them and whatnot. What's up, Lulu Love? You appreciate that. Green Bay Wacky and Cav 7 showed up. I was like, oh my god. Yeah, nah. Green Bay Wacky and Cav 7 are awesome as well. Awesome, channels. What I'm saying, cool people. I got no issues with them. I got no issues with nobody in this, in the community. It's all good. I'm always grateful to see the two of them. But yeah, that whole thing with crime and all that stuff, how it happens, whether you black, white, or otherwise, when you come from certain neighborhoods, it really does put you in a way and whatnot. But we're all dealing with the same system, though. Yeah, we're all dealing with the same system, Caesar. But remember, the system treats people differently based on the background that they come from, based on the neighborhood. Like I'll give you for instance, here in New York City, if you look at how much things cost in the stores, things may cost less in the convenience stores because there's people who are more low income. Then when you go to like places like Midtown, Uptown, or different parts of the state, there's different prices because more people can afford stuff. Like you look at the rent situation, how the rent is structured. Rents cost more and more expensive neighborhoods because people are more affluent. There's more like structured schools. The streets are probably cleaner. The cops are out 24/7. And they don't harass you, or you don't have to worry about them. The certain drugs are not being sold in certain neighborhoods and stuff like that. There's definitely more of a structured presence. Maybe it's tenant patrol. There's different things for different people, because what happens is they kind of treat you based on the social responsibilities that you take for your neighborhood. In certain neighborhoods, people are willing to upkeep and pay the taxes, and go to the community board meetings and let their voice be heard and be involved with the passing of the laws. I heard there's progressive schools where there's no structure for people that committed crimes. What? I heard there's progressive schools where there's no structure for people that committed crimes. You have to explain that one, Crimson Fantasy. But the point is that not everybody is treated equally in an unjust, corrupt system. We could pretend that it is. I mean, I could say, yeah, everybody has the same opportunities or whatever. I mean, it's still a blessing to be born in this country. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say that that's not the case. But at the same time, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that everybody is treated equally. I mean, because look at the LGBT community, LGBTQI community, not to be, negative towards it or whatever. They fight for equality and rights and stuff like that. Look at the Native Americans, they fight for rights. Look at the immigrants, the Mexicans are fighting for rights. The Islam's fighting for rights, Islamic people. So if things were so together or so equal, it, like I said, it's the same system, but it's not always the same set of rules for everybody. That's where I'm going with that. Not to get too crazy. Taking a break from the garden. How are you? I'm decent. I'm decent. I'm doing good. I was just sitting here talking, having a live stream. I was just answering some questions and stuff like that that was in the comments and whatnot. Yeah, like for kids in juvenile, the freedom and the teachers and the students have the same power. There's the same in the UK. Yeah, I could definitely get that. Crimson Fantasies. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that, even if you're dealing with the same system, that it's the same set of rules or the same set of strategies in poor neighborhoods, versus, more affluent, more, engaged neighborhoods where people, may vote more, people may be more active, or they may understand what's going on. People may be a little bit more educated than, folks coming from, poor, low income, destitute things. And sometimes there's whole countries like that. So, it is a difference. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not a difference. It is a difference. And I acknowledge that difference. And the difference is a different struggle. In some areas of the world, people are just struggling to have clean drinking water. That's not the same as if, somebody coming from a neighborhood where I am, where it's just low income, just more corruption. Some people are dealing with real poverty. Some people are dealing with real corruption. Some people are dealing with more corruption. Some people are dealing with less corruption. Some people are the ones making the corrupt laws and, fixing the system to the way they have it. And some are not. It's like here in America, you have, the top 1% controlling 99% of the wealth. You can't tell me that the system is fair for everybody when it's the top 1% controlling 99% of the wealth, amongst the people. So that comes into another situation in itself. And I'm not here to talk politics or talk about that stuff. I was just answering the question and whatnot. But those things are what cause people not to want to be preached to. When you have a system that's corrupt, when you have people that are not being treated fairly, when you got folks that are constantly telling you, how things should be, or, not doing their job, or not, putting stuff in the proper context that it belongs in, then sometimes folks don't want to be preached to. They don't want to be, given, these fair speeches. They don't want to, be, dealt, an unfair hand, telling them, what, it is what it is. These are curtains. These are curtains. The curtains, though, off a certain effect, so it looks red, but yeah, it is that, thanks, Mo, I appreciate it. But, definitely, like I said, I'm not trying to get too heavy-handed, even though, it is what it is. Yeah, no, it does look nice. Thank you, Caesar. Appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm just going for a different look. I don't know if there's any other questions, any other comments. I don't know if folks have anything else that they want to say or want to add to the conversation or whatnot. I just appreciate you again for being here. Like I said, because I know what it's like. It's a whole bunch of live streams and stuff going on right now. So many places you could be, but you choose to be here. And I appreciate you for being here. So, but like I said, if there's any other comments, any questions, any criticisms, feel free. I like to answer the questions anyway, however crazy or however, they may come off, whatever the case may be, I'll deal with that, But it does come to a point, like I said, people get tired, people get frustrated, people get fatigued, people just saying, what, I had enough. Like I said, keep your your speeches, and keep your preaching, and keep your way of telling me how to live. Why are you telling me how to live if it's not going to help me? You know what I mean? Why are you trying to tell me, the way I'm living is wrong if you ain't living right yourself, So, everybody can tell you how to live. They never did it, Folks always got a book or seminar or something that they want you to get into, or, watch this video, and this video will change your life, because it's the secret to life, and, all that other stuff. And it could wear you down. It could fatigue you. It really can, and I understand where folks are coming from with that. Sometimes you want to shut off and you don't want to deal with any of it. You're just like, I'm all right. I'll take my chances out here. I'll take my chances in the wilderness, and sometimes it's like that, I mean, especially with all the corruption and the abuses in the systems, and, in our schools, in our justice system, in our churches and synagogues, just, our homes, it's like, sometimes the last thing when you wake up, you want to hear somebody telling you how to live, that's the last thing you want to do. God, ladies, all the best. Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good, Size Dad. Yeah, we wanted to go back to the land of your ancestors. At times, but first I got to figure out where my ancestors are, because, Just because everybody looks of African American descent doesn't mean they are. You know, I could be of Asian descent. I could be of, you know, what you call them, Russian, whatever. I don't know. You know, I mean, it doesn't. I don't have to be 100% sure. I could be of French descent. So it is one of those things where, you know, at times I wanted to, at times other times I'm like, nah, I create a new history. You know, I move forward and I forge and I, you know, make a new thing. You know, I don't really hold on to the past. Would it be cool to know? Yeah, it'd probably be cool to know. But is it crucial for me to exist and go to where I need to go? Nah, it's not crucial for me to know, you know, every detail and every piece. What if my ancestors were slave owners? You know what I'm saying? What would I do then? So it matters in the here and now, who I am and what I do with my time. You know, who am I now? I think that's more important than trying to go back and know everything. You know, you may find out some things you really don't need to know. You know, I focus on the here and the now. You know, but I appreciate that. You know, thank you for that question. Thank you for all those questions. You know, it helped the live stream, helped it a lot. You know, do you feel if the U.S. owes you something? No, I don't. I don't feel as if the U.S. owes me something. No, the United States government does not owe me anything. You know, I'd rather work for it. Now, I appreciate the opportunities that I've been afforded, but I believe in this world, nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything. You know, I don't feel that way. I don't believe in that. I don't subscribe to that. I believe that you get what you pay for, what you work for, what you're willing to sacrifice and struggle for. You know, I mean, should you get common decency? Should you be treated a certain way? Yes, but you know, it's not owed to me to be treated a certain way. You know, I mean, so do you believe you should receive a check like the Native Americans? Well, the Native Americans are different. Native Americans are different. When you're talking about having a land stolen from you, I mean, man, listen, you know, you tell me, would you think I owe you something if I stole your land and, you know, built upon it and banished you and gave you a reservation? What would you feel? You know, so it is something there with that. You know, that's why I said the Native Americans actually have a legitimate beef or gripe or whatever the case. But even though, you know, that's a touchy issue or whatnot, do I feel personally that I'm owed a check or nothing, something like that? Nah, not really. I don't. I mean, I know some people subscribe to the 40 acres and a mule because, you know, that's something that was promised, you know, way, way back when, you know, but I'm good without the 40 acres and a mule. I'm definitely good. You know, I'd rather work and do what I got to do. I mean, you know, I just need the opportunity. I don't need a check. I need an opportunity. That's what I need. You know, I need a fair playing field. You know, I don't need the slight hand. You know, I don't need the corruption. You know, but it's there, so you fight with it. You know, you could use 40 acres though. Yeah. See you next time. Spread love. It's the Brooklyn way. Peace.